Now, I promised you that we were going to get to Dan Meuser, and I want to talk to him about this Ukrainian situation, and he is on the line. Congressman Meuser, how are you?
Hey, doing great, Bob. You're also covering some important subjects there, but I'll cover any subject that you like.
No, I look at you're right in the catbird seat. I want to get your perspective on Russia's attack against Ukraine.
Well, I'll try not to regurgitate everything that we're seeing on the 24/7 news, but it's not exactly a news flash that Putin is a tyrannical thug. Why that should be a surprise to this administration or to anyone, we have to be concerned with. I mean, the buildup for this has been going on. Russian troops have been building up since July, actually since the Afghanistani debacle. There was no planning really at all along the way, even when our Foreign Affairs Committee made inquiries. There was very little uniting of allies, and frankly, a lot of wishful thinking that they were going to be able to negotiate and have diplomacy and have some minimal sanctions against Putin to cease his buildup and not to invade. And none of that occurred. And then we, I say we because the United States of America, but then President Biden issues this red line that shouldn't be crossed. And not only was it crossed, we moved our own goalposts, which undermined an already very weak response. And Putin called Biden's bluff.
Well, Congressman, one of the things I've been pointing out is the leverage we had against them was not necessarily military. It was our energy independence and our ability to produce vast amount of energy to offset the leverage he has against Europe.
Yeah, huge.
And we gave it away. We gave it away unilaterally.
Right. We weakened our national security by letting us become non-energy independent as we were a short 14 months ago. This is what happens when you rely upon other countries, particularly adversaries such as Iran, China, and, of course, Russia.
It's quite amazing. Well, Congressman, what is the Foreign Affairs Committee going to do, if anything, or maybe there's not much you can do, you being in the minority in that for now? What can you do to try to salvage this situation that Biden has created?
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't have been an escalating series of sanctions, right? I mean, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, they should have been hit hard with every level of sanction, so the consequences were going to be clear. I don't know if that would have deterred Putin, but the idea that Joe Biden is going to be coming on the television in 15 minutes and tell us that there's added sanctions is certainly kind of, the proverbial closing the barn door after the cow got out. The UK even just issued some pretty serious sanctions, and one of them is SWIFT, something that I've been calling for, we've been calling for, the International Financial Telecommunication Organization, that if you're prohibited from that, you've got major financial problems, such as sanctioning Putin himself, and the oil companies and anyone who does business with their oil companies. We really could have done a lot more, a lot sooner. And yet now we have a major invasion, deaths, many, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 already. I will tell you this, though, our information tells us that the Russians thought this would be over in 2 days. And, well, right now, my understanding is they've got about nearly 100 Russian POWs. They're shooting down the helicopters. And they're sadly or positively putting up one hell of a fight.
Well, the other thing, Congressman, I had read a report that they had taken out as many as 12 Russian tanks with the tank busters we sent them. So yeah, they're
Right.
going to inflict some damage, but it's going to be a long, grinding affair outside of the cities. Now, one of the things, the other thing that is I found disgraceful, is we allowed Russia to jump into China's arms, and China is going to be the financial workaround to get around the suspension of SWIFT, and any other financial damage that we could have done. In addition to the fact that he's going to get more for his oil, and he's going to have more money in his hands because gold has shot up so much.
Yeah, no question. Oil's now over $100 a barrel. The only almost economic factor for the Russians is their natural gas and their oil. So they're making more money as this goes. The issue with China is perhaps one of the most serious of all, that they are watching and they will react to the weakness and the lack of consequences and response. Certainly, you could say just as Russia did with from Afghanistan, and that's very serious. I mean, Ukraine is serious. Taiwan has much technology and supplies that we need. They're a very significant trading partner that the CCP is circling as we speak,
Yeah.
and they have been. So the world is watching. Bob, what it really comes down to is we're in a very serious world. We need serious people in charge. We must be focused. We can't bring all this wokeness to everything in our lives, to the police, wokeness to the military, wokeness, our whole focus is climate change. Lowering investment in national security, an assault on our domestic energy. I mean, we must have law and order. We must have a strong economy because strong economy is your best offense. And our national security, including energy, including border security, including alliances with friendly nations. So we're just doing things wrong in the short term and the long term, and very much that comes down to leadership. But right now, we must deal with this issue. We do have to come together. We have to minimize this catastrophe, as similar to what had to be done in Afghanistan, unfortunately, because of the poor planning, and assure that this doesn't extend into other countries. If Putin feels he can just go into here and without too many consequences, he could certainly feel that about other countries. But I'll just end with this: if there's any silver lining, and it's very hard to find one, particularly right now, is our nations, our allies are uniting. NATO should be stronger because of it. And it's also causing other countries, such as Finland, for instance, has asked to join NATO because they feel if they're a NATO member, Putin would hesitate before such an adversary before invading.
And they are very close to Mother Russia. Yeah, they're very close.
Right.
Well, Congressman Meuser, thank you very much. I get to bloviate for 3 hours, get it off my chest, and then go home. You have to do this 24/7. So I feel for you and the frustration you must be experiencing.
Well, it is frustrating, but we're going to just continue to weigh in and be as constructive as we can, and of course, be transparent and truthful to my constituents.
Well, we appreciate your service, and please keep us updated on this and any other situation that comes across your desk. I appreciate it.
I will, Bob, and I appreciate you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to speak.